So, triangle proportionality theorem. Yeah. A line intersects a triangle, and that line is parallel to the base, the non-intersected side. Um, then it creates proportional sides of that triangle. Now, what that looks like in that case is if DE is parallel to AC, then BD over DA is equal to BE over EC. So if I have a parallel segment going through a triangle, it splits the sides of the triangle into proportional parts. Now, that is also backwards as well. You can do the converse of that theorem. So if you know you have proportional parts, BD over DA is equal to BE over EC, then DE is parallel to AC. So this should be a very simple lesson today. Very easy to set up our ratios. Also pretty short. You have enough time to get you guys work done, probably. So just 2 pages. All right. So we're going to set up the ratios, and so we're going to take 2 sides. Okay, so these 2 and this side, and we're just going to make fractions out of these 2 sets. Doesn't matter how you set the first fraction. The only thing that matters is that the other fraction mirrors the position. So for example, if we did 14 over 12, we need to do x over 15. Okay, if we did 12 over 14, we need to do 15 over x. Basically, these sides should be either in both the numerator or both denominator. So we'll say numerator and denominator here. So we'll say 12 over 14 is equal to x, or 15 over x. So now you can reduce your fractions before you get started. So 12 and 14 do reduce to 6 and 7, and that is equal to 15 over x. And we can solve by cross multiplying. 6 times x equals 7 times 15. Divide by 6. X is equal to 17.5. So for number 2, if we set up x over 18, then we can set up 56 over 21. Now 56 and 21 can both be divided by 7. So reducing your fraction by 7, we get 8 over 3. Now in this case, since we reduced our fraction here, we can use the shortcut. All right, what times 3 gives you 18? So 6 times 3 is 18, which means 6 times 8 is x. So what's x? 48. So sometimes you can use shortcuts, sometimes you can't. Now, if you want to do cross multiplication every single time because you like it, go right ahead. Okay. Number 3, we do need to find my segment here, which is just the difference between 55 and 45, so 10. And we set up our fractions. We have x over 36. We can reduce 10 and 45. That both being divided by 5 is 2 over 9. And again, we can use the shortcut. 4 times 9 is 36, which means x is 4 times 2, so x is 8. So go ahead and do number 4. So try number 4. Give me a minute. Won't take too long. All right. So for this one, find the difference between 6 and 27 to get 21. Now 6 over 21 does reduce by 3 to give you 2 over 7. So 2 over 7 is equal to 7 over x. Now, I mean, you kind of could if you want to do, since 2 times 3.5 is 7, you can do 7 times 3.5, which is 24.5. But if you don't want to, you can cross multiply. 49 is equal to 2x, and just divide by 2. 24.5. Now 5 and 6 are a bit different because now we have not just a variable, we have a binomial. So here, when we set up our fractions, you still want to reduce fractions if you can. 25 and 15 both reduced by 5 to be 5 over 3 is equal to 30 over x plus 7. Now, if you want, you can still use the shortcut, because 6 times 5 is 30, which means 6 times 3 is x plus 7. So that means 18 is equal to x plus 7. Subtracting 7, 11 is equal to x. So you can still use the shortcut in this case. But if you wanted to cross multiply, you would have got 5x plus 35 is equal to 90. Subtract 35. 5x is equal to 55. With numbers. All right, which means x is 11. So you would still got 11. If you want to cross multiply, go ahead and cross multiply. If you want to use the shortcut, use the shortcut. All right, it's fine. All right. So here, set up fractions. Again, we can reduce 6 and 21, reduced by 3 to be 2 over 7. So 2 over 7 is equal to x minus 1 over 3x plus 1. So here we have to cross multiply. We have 7x minus 7 is equal to 6x plus 2. Subtract 6x. X minus 7 equals 2, and if we add 7 over, x equals 9. Now, on the homework, you will have a question that when you cross multiply, you're going to multiply your binomials together, and you're going to have to factor with the leading coefficient. So let's talk about, yeah. Okay. So I want to look at it, just do an example real quick. We put that, we don't need to see more. All right. So let's say we had, if we cross multiply, we got 5x squared minus 37x plus 47 equals 5. All right. So first thing we want to do is we want to get 0 on one side, because you can't do anything like 0. Okay. So subtract 5, we have 5x squared minus 37x plus 42 is equal to 0. There have been at least 4 different ways I've seen this done. Okay. When I learned this way back in the 1900s, okay, well, 1996, I think. So yeah, we had guess and check, and that was it. That's all we had. Okay? No one had really figured out how to really do these well. When I started teaching, somebody showed me, hey, you can actually factor by grouping, by separating these two, that middle term, and then group them, which was great. I thought it was great because it worked every time. Didn't have to guess and check anymore. Well, a couple of years ago, I saw something called the AC method, which is a little bit like factor by grouping, but even better. So the AC method takes A, B, and C, and we set up this X. Now you may have seen this already. A times C up top. So 5 times 42 is what, 210? And negative 37. B down here. So we have to think what factors of 210 combine to be negative 37. And it actually works out pretty nicely in this case because that's 5 and 42. Is it? No. Nope, it's not. Because they have to both be negative, and negative 5 and negative 42 do not add to be negative 37. So let's try. See, 10 and 21 would not work because we 31. So let's try 730. There you go. So negative 7, negative 30. If I multiply these, I get positive 210. If I add these, we get negative 37. Now, this is where this method differs than most other methods. Okay? Because what we're going to do is we're going to write these as our factors, x minus 7 and x minus 30. And since we multiplied by a, we have to balance this out by dividing by a. So divide by 5, we get x minus 7 over 5 and x minus 6. All right. Now, to actually solve, what we're supposed to do is set each of these equal to 0. So x minus 7 over 5 is equal to 0. So x equals 7/5 if you add that over. X minus 6 equals 0. So x equals 6. And there's your answers. So if you like to do what's called the box method, do the box method. Okay. If you want to factor by grouping, factor by grouping. If you have some way in which you get the correct answer outside of, Photomath, then yeah, do it that way. Right? But this is just one of the easiest ways I've seen factoring when you have a leading coefficient. So you do what you want. Now, since this is an actual geometry problem, you may want to check your answers, see which one works and which one doesn't, because you cannot have a negative side length. So one of these would probably give you a negative value, all right, in your original function. So do check your answers. There should only be one answer, even though you get two. It's going to be kind of obvious. So, questions? All right. That's out. So next page. Now here we are just determining if the lines are parallel, which means does the line create proportional sections? So is 11 over 15.4 equal to 10 over 14? All right. So let's get our calculator out. So 11 divided by, or 15.4 gives me 0.71428, which is 5/7. And 10 over 14 does reduce to 5/7. So yeah.
Does it have to be in fraction form?
Well, you can just get the decimal form, that's fine too. As long as they give you the same value, you're fine. You just have to show they give you the same ratio. So yes, in this case, the answer is check, yes, they are parallel. Now for here, we have 15 over 4, which is, if you divide by 4, you get what, 3.75? Right? Is that equal to 18 over 5, which gives you 3.6? Yeah, no. And here, 24 over 30, which is divided by 4, no, divided by 6 is 4/5. All right. And, or 0.8 if you want to do decimals. And 30 over 37.5. 30 divided by 37.5 is also 0.8. So yes, they're parallel. So in those, you just have to show that the ratios are equal. If they are not equal, they are not parallel. If they are equal, they are parallel. Simple enough. All right, any questions on the first part? Okay. Let's talk about parallel lines. If you have three or more parallel lines, so if AB is parallel to CD, which is parallel to EF, then the lines that intersect, or the transversals that intersect all of those parallel lines, will have proportional segments, which means AC over CE is equal to BD over DF. So pretty much the same concept here. Yeah, turn my head home, try that again. BD over DF. All right, so in this case, that gives us 45 over 18 has to equal 52 over x. Now 45 and 18 can both be divided by 9 to be 5 over 2. So 5 over 2 is equal to 52 over x. Now, again, we can kind of use a shortcut since 10.4 is times 5 is 52. So 2 times 10.4 would be 20.8. Or you can just cross multiply. 104 is equal to 5x divided by 5. X equals 20.8. So either way is fine. So again, number 11, you can set this up a couple ways. I'm going to set it up as 12 over 30 equals 14 over x. 12 and 30 reduced by 6 to be 2 and 5 is equal to 14 over x. In this case, it's much easier just to use the shortcut. So since 2 times 7 equals 14, 5 times 7 is x, so x is 35. For number 12, difference here, 18 and 32 is 14. So we'll do 18 over 14 and 27 over x. Now 18, 14 reduced by 2 to be 9 over 7. So 9 over 7 is equal to 27 over x. So what is x? 21. Yeah, use the shortcut. Times 3 times 3. X equals 21. Here, 92 minus 28 is 64. Now, 28 and 64 can both be divided by 4 to be 7 over 16. Is equal to 31.5 over x. So 7x is equal to 16 times 1.5, 504. And divide by 7. You get 72. Hmm. 2 more left and we're done. So set up our ratios. 24 over 18, that can be divided by 6 to be 4 over 3. It's equal to 33x plus 1 over 12. Now again, we can use a bit of shortcut since 3 times 4 is equal to 12. 4 times 4 is equal to 3x plus 1. 16 equals 3x plus 1, which gives you minus 1 minus 1. 15 equals 3x. So x is 5. Again, if you just want to cross multiply, go right ahead. Now for this one, there's no way to simplify this, so we're going to leave this as 2x plus 2 over 21 is equal to x plus 3 over 12. Cross multiply here, we get 24x plus 24 is equal to 21x plus 63. Subtract 21x. Subtract 24. 3x equals 39, which means x equals 13. That is your notes. So go ahead and get the homework done. On that in before you go if you want. Tomorrow we have our last bit of notes for this semester. Last homework assignment. Review for test, and then when we are here next week, we have final exam review.